How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. So today we're doing my 400 subscriber Q&A special. I know I'm a little bit late to it because I wanted to let some of the questions roll in, but we are on around 444 I think at the moment, so nearly 450. The growth on the channel lately has just been insane, so I just want to say thank you all very much. Decided to put some Rebirth Island gameplay as a little bit of a throwback. We've been grinding the Vanguard lately, but we will be back with some more tips until the new Warzone map. But yeah, I just want to say thank you all for 400 subs, really. I wanted to get 500 by the end of the year, and about a month ago I was thinking that's probably not even going to happen, but now it's looking quite likely, because we're gaining a few subs every day at the moment, because we keep getting more and more views on the Vanguard videos, so I'm really happy with how the channel's going. So we've got a few different questions today off some of the fans off Twitter, Reddit and of course YouTube, and I just wanted to sort of take you through them and give you my honest answers, so I do hope you enjoy, guys, and we'll get right into it now. So straight away we're going in with a decent question off Rennie. It says, what can we expect from your channel going forward? So that's a good question. I kind of answered it in the intro without thinking about it, but mainly at the moment for the next month or so we're going to be grinding out the Vanguard tips videos, as people seem to enjoy them, and of course the jumps and spots ones. But then eventually I will be moving on to some Battlefield as well, as I did promise everybody I'd play it, but I just haven't actually got around to playing it due to being busy with real life, and then of course busy grinding Vanguard. But then of course once the Warzone Pacific map comes out, we're going to also be smashing that out more than Vanguard, because that is where my channel sort of originated from. I'd like to get back to the Warzone tip videos. Up next, we got two questions from Blue. Shout out to him, very good editor and talented. He made my recent Sniper edit video, so go check him out on Twitter and YouTube. What a legend. So, he says, how is sniping so easy for you, and what are your thoughts on Vanguard so far? How is sniping so easy for me? To be honest, I have off days where I'm not very good at sniping. But yeah, it's just practice really. Like, I've been playing since Modern Warfare 2, and I've been sniping since then as well. And it just sort of clicks, I guess. And then I find Warzone is kind of easy to snipe, and it's just practice. Like, due lockdown last year, I literally just played 12 hours a day or whatever. So I'm guessing it comes from that. And then second question is, what are my thoughts on Vanguard so far? As you've probably seen, I've been grinding it quite a lot, so I've really been enjoying it. It is a lot of fun to play. Can get a little bit frustrating sometimes with how sweaty the lobbies get, and obviously the shotguns. It has its issues, but so do most new games. But yeah, thanks for the questions, Blue. So we got a few questions off Not Even Sue, one of my loyal subscribers. Shout out to him for always giving me some support on the channel. Really appreciate that. So up first he says, what's your strongest Pokemon? Now, I haven't been into Pokemon for years, but I've always been a big fan of Charmander and Charizard. I don't know why, I think he's cute. So then, what mic do I use? I actually use like a USB Logitech mic that I've had for years, and it seems to be pretty good quality, but I think as the channel grows, I'm going to start getting more better equipment, such as a PC, for example. And then he also asked if I could revive any game, what would it be? Stereotypical, but I've got to say Modern Warfare 2, or Modern Warfare 3 actually. I just love getting home from school back in the day, and just grinding out those games. There's just nothing better. And then, of course, he says, what was the last one? Does PC have advantage, or is aim assist overpowered? Now, I feel like I'm literally going to get shot if I say this. I don't know. I think both have their advantages. You know, aim assist obviously quite clearly has a big advantage over PC, but then the argument against it is that PC players have their all arm to aim. I can't really comment on it, to be honest, I'm afraid, because I haven't really played PC. So yeah, sorry, I can't really answer that last question because I just don't have the experience. But thanks for your questions, mate. Legend. Bedrocks asks, how many hours do you have in Vanguard so far? I think I'm around the sort of 20 hours mark, so not actually a lot. I am on, I think, Prestige number 2. I haven't been playing it as much as I'd like to. I normally just hop on to grind for the videos and get some content out for you guys. But yeah, it was. I wish I could play it a little bit more, so not as much as you'd probably think. And then up next, Joe is really cool from Reddit asks, this is a Warzone related question, how can I be useful with a sniper when my team is pushing? Now, this is an interesting question. I like this because I kind of do have the experience to answer it. So I'd say if your team are pushing and you want to be a sniper, I'd say quite obvious, but hang back a little bit. Just watch over them, you know, watch their pushes, watch their flanks, see where the enemies are pushing from, and you can also give them good recon as well. And obviously if you get down, be sure to let them know as well, then you can sort of help them take out the kills. If you're more of an aggressive sniper, then don't be afraid to just get up close and hold some angles up for them, and just try and take out the enemies as much as you can, and whilst supporting your team as well. So thank you for those 2 questions. Now we've got 3 questions off Easy Mode Check. Be sure to go check out the channel. They upload some really good content as well. So up first, they asked, why did I start my channel? So I can't remember if I answered this in the last Q&A, but the answer is probably different now. So I've always been into YouTube. Believe it or not, I actually had a channel about 10 years ago where I was making sort of Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 videos, that kind of age of Call of Duty. And I was also trying to make tip videos back then. So it's always just been there. Ended up deleting all those though, because obviously they weren't really the best. I was making them with a very, very cheap capture card and editing software. And then I sort of give up for a long time. Didn't play many games for a few years, and then sort of got back into it with Warzone. And I just sort of wanted something to keep me creative during lockdown. And it seemed to have been a lot of fun. We got some good growth on the channel. So that's sort of why I started it. It is just a fun little hobby for me as well. And then they asked, what is my favourite weapon in COD? I'm not sure if you mean every COD or the most recent. But if I was going to say Vanguard, I'd probably say it's got to be the Automaton for me. But then COD overall, I'd go for the Intervention off Modern Warfare 2 or the ACR off Modern Warfare 3. And then the final question was, what's my gaming setup? So currently I'm just playing and editing and uploading straight off a PlayStation 5. I've recently switched over to it, and it's a lot of fun to play as well. So thanks for these questions, and shout out to you. Now I've got an interesting question about Warzone here off Acrylic. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He says, I'd like to know if there's any out-of-game aim training, etc. that you use before games, or if it's even worth to do in Warzone. So yeah, I did make a video on this about a month or 2 ago, I believe. So basically, I like to hop into lobbies against bots in private lobby, and I'll set it to headshot only sometimes, and that helps me improve my sniper. And you can also take the headshots only off, but put the health up to max. So this sort of emulates when you're shooting people that have armor on in Warzone. And this just really can get you warmed up with your movement and your aim, just getting you used to taking out enemies before you start playing Warzone. Because obviously if you jump straight into Warzone, then you're not going to be fully warmed up and you can get taken out quite easily. But then also Rebirth Island is really good for warm up on before you hop into the dance, for example. And then Vanguard as well, I will play against bots sometimes. Just really does help get that movement sort of on point before you jump into public games. So thank you for that question. I appreciate all the support. And then another question off Rich B. This is first and favourite Call of Duty. I've already spoken about this loads in this video for some reason. I keep mentioning it. But Modern Warfare 2, I believe, is my favourite. But my first would have been World at War, which was also a very, very good game in its time, to be honest. Sort of introduced zombies. That was a huge game. But yeah, I'd say Modern Warfare 2 has got to be my favourite. I know everybody says it's because of nostalgia, but it was just so good. Like, the amount of fun times I've had on that game, there's none other COD that sort of compares. Warzone's a close second, I'd say, at this point, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, thanks for that question, Rich. Then we got one last question off Harry on Twitter. Says, what is my favourite game that isn't a shooter? Wow, that's a tough one. That isn't a shooter. Like, normally I'd say that The Last of Us is my favourite game of all time, but I guess you kind of call it a shooter. So I've got to go with God of War on this one, as in the most recent one. I'm so excited for God of War 2. I know I haven't really uploaded any of this stuff, but I didn't really imagine that anybody would be interested in seeing it. But if you were, then do let me know down below if you'd like to see some of these newer games that are coming out. I'd be happy to play them. It's just finding the time to sort of grind them. But yeah, so God of War's probably got to be my most favourite. I also love all the Assassin's Creed games as well that aren't shooters. So once again, I just want to say a massive thanks to everybody who's dropped a question for today's video. Really do appreciate it. Appreciate all the support as well. And I didn't really expect to grow this fast, so if we do hit 500 by the end of the year, I'll be looking at doing some other sort of special video. More than likely some sort of giveaway maybe of like COD points or something along those lines, just to say thank you back to the community as well. So be sure to follow me on Twitter to stay up to date with that. I will post video to YouTube as well about it and how to enter and those sort of things. But yeah, don't be afraid to let me know. So guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and let's move on to 500.